What's up? I had the opportunity to chat with Nick Shackelford from StructuredSocial.com. Super knowledgeable media buyer, good dude, and we talked about the pandemic and what we're seeing on our end with some of the different trends and how to leverage some of this data that's coming through these weird times for our clients' benefit, and also some stuff on creative testing, which I think y'all might find interesting, and just share some general industry knowledge. It's funny, the longer that you're in this industry, the more time that you spend as a media buyer, the more that you figure out that this industry is such a bubble and that everybody's so interconnected through that third degree of separation. This is one of those cases. So I've been meaning to chat with Nick for a while and finally put it together, and we were able to hop on and have a conversation during this pandemic where everybody's got free time on their hands except us running campaigns and ads, and we're in utter mayhem with all the changes and things that we're trying to keep up with. So without further ado, here it is. Hey, what's up? I'm here with Nick Shackelford. Am I saying that right?
Yep, Shackelford.
Shackelford with StructuredSocial.com. Nick is based in Orange County and is currently quarantining with everybody. But yeah, that's the intro. Nothing fancy.
I was like, man, you're gonna give me a big one or what?
Yeah, here it is. Here's the drum roll. But no, that's it. I think as most of my two viewers who've watched the videos will say that, just really shoot the shit on these videos and like to kind of spitball, what's working for you, what's working for me, random stuff. We'll get through a little bit of it. I've got a set list of questions where we'll go through some of the stuff of your background and some other cool stuff, random questions I've got. But Nick was asking me just now, what's our focus for an agency? And yeah, I was just mentioning that, we really don't have one. A lot of agencies are kind of niche, and I get it. There's riches and niches, and that, when you do something and you do it really well over and over, it's templatable, all that good stuff that, people talk about. I've never really done the niche stuff just because I always come across opportunities with specific clients that are in different niches that I know things will work really well for. And we do it, we run it, and that's kind of why we're not niched. And I always operate under a mantra of, a funnel's a funnel, and that, if you just treat everything as simple as possible, like a funnel, and how you would engage, how you would continue to retarget people, all those buzzwords, that when you break it down that way, usually every product, every service doesn't seem as scary when you approach it. But when you approach like a product and you're like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to just simplify it and break it down to that simple kind of funnel setup. The ones that we don't work with are ones that are, policy breaking ones that are of course going to get us in trouble, which we can't afford to risk having our business manager and that stuff get screwed with it. I've heard very bad horror stories of that in the past. I don't know if you ever had that happen to you?
No, but thank
yeah.
God.
Knock on butt.
Yeah. We have, so I think the main question was like, okay, I'd like to quote, you had riches in the niches, there's riches in the niches. I think when I first started out, like I came from big agency background. So I played pro soccer before. That's like where like the competitive, wanting to win, wanting to be first, wanting to be on team. And then right when I like left, which was like 2015, 16 area, I was like, where am I going to find another team that can compete, that I can like actually get paid, right? And so like naturally you go into sales and marketing, you go into advertising. I didn't really know what Facebook or performance marketing was. I never was an affiliate, never done any of that stuff. And then I got introduced to the creative side for Pepsi and Apple. And I was like, holy shit, like these people, I saw the money, right? I saw Pepsi was paying a creative team to come up with an idea that they go, oh, that's 50 grand. What? Like I'm sitting in rooms and like, that's a 50 grand. Okay, let's go to this one next quarter. That's 200 grand. I'm like, how, like this dude spoke for a sentence, showed a presentation, this dude got a fat check. I'm like, all right, how do I do this? Like, how do I talk? How can I get in a position to be a marketer? And I learned media buying on Apple. Like literally the first ad account I opened up was how do I sell iPad Pros, the iWatch, and at the time the iPhone 7. like think about this. Like Apple didn't give a shit about what you wanted to spend. And so I'm sitting there doing like the wrong techniques, exporting things, uploading with an Excel sheet, changing. I didn't even know how to navigate this stuff. I was so green coming from soccer. All I knew is like, hey, I'll work. I'm a good team player, and like I'll figure it out because I've always had to figure it out, right? And so at that point, I realized like, shit, this is what I want to do, but I'm one person in a massive company like Apple that I'm not going to get recognition. And me being the needy man I am, like I want recognition, right? I was a goalkeeper. There's only one of you back here, right? So if I'm going to win or lose, I want to own that shit. And so I think that's what pushed me into becoming a performance marketer or just an agency dude in general, is because now I knew in my world I would have multiple projects, multiple things going on, which I'll tell you about after this is, but as an agency owner, you can have one project, which is running traffic or building company or building teams that service multiple teams. Right now, I'm blessed, 95 accounts. I can pull up 95 accounts at any time across any industry and niche across the world and tell you a trend that's happening or tell you how performance has been or tell you changes that we're making. You can't do that, right? Like, how else am I going to get access to this many businesses ever? Yeah. So this is the only way you go. Only way you go. And so we got our first W with my partner, who we've been together for about 5-6 years now, fidget spinners in 2017. Very first actual personal cash I made online was selling fidget spinners for $35. You talk about opportunity, dude. We wrote it so fucking hard. You have no idea how quickly we got up and scaling on that. I think I just posted on Twitter, like an ad we used was like, stop fidgeting, grab a Fidgetly. Like that was like the ad. And it just like went bonkers.
Was that like 2016?
2016, 2017. I think we jumped onto it like end of 16, early 17.
Yeah.
And that's where we found that money. And as soon as I saw direct to consumer money, that's all. I just went straight agency. And then I had Tim Bird kind of like took me under his wing, because Bird's out of Orange County. So I went with him. I asked for him to like, listen, I know how to scale. I just need more reps. I need to do this more often. Because someone always asks me, and I would love to hear your response to this. What makes a good media buyer?
I'd say like, for me, for an answer on that, I mean, it's of course a loaded question, but I'd say like a holistic understanding of marketing itself. It's not any kind of niche or any kind of specific tactic. It's just like, it's more so understanding how people are and just knowing like, you know, different little strategies to use, of course, in your media buying and what you're, you know, how you're running the ads. But like, if you don't understand at the core how consumers interact and how people go along in their little customer journeys, whether you're selling a pen or you're selling, you know, a service that creates pens and which requires a lot more consumer education. For me, it's like the holistic understanding and just knowing how all that stuff plays out. Because when you know the big picture of it, you can better make your creative to fit those different parts of the journey. And you're also not having those stumbling blocks where you have to retroactively go back and, you know, come up with an email marketing campaign because they need additional, you know, nurturing along their journey to becoming a customer. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, that was way more in depth than I expected you to go into. So thank you for sharing. Mine was like, a good media buyer to me is someone that knows how to spend money, right? Like that's a simple way of saying what you said, right? It's like, they know how to spend money. They won't be spending money if they don't have the understanding, the positioning, the structure, the discipline, the creative eye, right? Like that's all the other things involved. And when I was learning, I was like, fuck, I know how to spend money. And there's a video floating around. It's like, oh, I've spent 85 million. Like it's more than that, but like, I can't track the other parts because I don't have those BMs sitting. Yeah. So when you spend that much money, or when you are spending this much money, well, you just start seeing things. And I posted today, I was like, I feel like a craftsman. Like when I'm in an account and I'm just looking like, okay, my naming convention's on point. This is top, middle, bottom of funnel. Okay, I'm structured this way. Here's my 2 creative I'm going to run. Like you just start like, it's an art and science, like science with the numbers and understanding where to go. And then like, I'm curious about this. I'm going to try that shit out. Why do you want to do that? Well, because I feel based on what I'm looking at right here and based on all that other shit I know, we should go this direction.
Yeah. Do you keep your creative campaigns completely separate of your funnels?
So in terms of creative testing, new creative?
Yeah.
So we have two different campaigns. We'll have an always running evergreen interest testing and always running rotation of a dynamic creative test where we isolate the variables. So we have one isolation of just creative or copies constant, or just creative is constant and copy would be different. Now, we have two different plays that we take out of this. If the DCT has between 3 to 5, we don't like to do too many variables because then it's too costly. If we aren't finding a winner, or we aren't finding someone that has a higher CTR, maybe some profitability, because it doesn't really show you funnel metrics on a DCT, then we'll have to duplicate it out into just a normal automatic bid campaign against a 1%, or if not a 1, just go broad. So depending on where the account's health is, we do like to keep creative testing separate. If we're feeling like shit, we already know audience, we already know the bid or pages we're running to, we'll load up a brand new copy that we believe is directional based on the other shit we're running. I don't think there's a blanketed approach where we go, guys, why are you not running segmented or like separate creative testing in its own thing? Because you might have an account where everything you launch is just scalable. And as soon as you have that, like for instance, we have a Mother's Day campaign going live right now. I have 45 assets. You think I'm going to be able to launch an individual campaign with 45 assets? No way. So we only can run a DCT to try and siphon through to give me 4 or 5 that I can duplicate out into a real CBO.
So you're gonna do that with like, sorry, I got a big echo just in. You're gonna do that with like within like 5 separate ad sets, all the same?
Yeah. So currently, like if I'm looking at it right now, so this launched yesterday, and
do you use CBO when you're doing that?
On the DCT, correct. We'll do CBO, but we'll do a minimum. We'll do a minimum spend on it to make sure that it gets a little bit of oomph. So right now, what we have is I launched one DCT yesterday. We spent $475 at a 4x, and I was like, all right, cool. Leave that running. I need to rotate a couple new campaigns for this specific offer.
And those are Mother's Day ads that you're already testing?
Yeah, we got a month. We're a month away. Perfect time.
Yeah. You're ahead of me.
Well, fuck. I mean, we were in a quarantine. Ain't nobody got anything else to do except think about the next holiday.
Yeah. I saw it. I actually just saw it like 2 days ago, and I was like, oh shit. It planted the seed, because I mean, I haven't looked at my calendar honestly in a couple days for holidays coming up. But one of the email marketers on our team had something for Mother's Day, and I was like, is she just off? Or was like, shit, that's right on the corner.
May 10th. We got less than a month.
Yeah.
Which means you got like 2.5 weeks to scale. So like that's why I was like, all right, we're launching this today.
Not to mention get like creative back.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the approach. And what we're doing today is we knew creative is like the big focus. So we've been building this silently for a year now, but it's called Constant Creative. And all it is like we trained our media buyers to make performance creative, because we only get paid if we're performance team, right? If we can't convert or drive revenue, we're fired. So we had to teach our creatives, like, you can't create the normal branded stuff that doesn't convert. Like, you still need to be conscious of CTR and CPC, and you still need to drive revenue, right? So we have guys that are just cranking through creative, and we started offering it to people on an ad needed basis. But the reason why it's slow to scale is because we're asking people to like give us ad account access so we can evaluate how they're running their campaigns.
And then you get your foot in the door and go that way.
Well, it's not even like if they want to use it. If not, it's like, hey, we're going to make the creative, but if you don't share performance data or insights, I can't make you better creative. Like, we're only as good as the subjective opinion of someone that thinks good creative is things that they've seen, right?
Yeah.
But if they know how to look at their data, they're not going to evaluate the content that we're making for them. So we're having to teach them how to look at the account, which no one else is doing.
So when you first started out, you said you with Apple. That's interesting. Were you internally, or you were like with an agency serving Apple?
Yeah, we were with Apple has an AOR called MAL, Media Arts Lab, out of LA. And they have a performance team under Omnicom called Resolution Media. So we are Apple's performance team living within MAL, running all Apple traffic.
Interesting. That's a hell of a first campaign.
Yeah. So, I remember we were in Cupertino launching iPhone 7, and like we were doing massive Twitter buys. Well, what I didn't realize, and the dude that was running, his name is Casey, unbelievable media buyer. I don't know what he's doing nowadays, but he was running. He was in charge of Twitter. I had EMEA and JPAC and the EU for Facebook, and all of a sudden, like when you put on Facebook, when you put into draft, it doesn't, like, you can't search it. It doesn't index. But when you put into draft on Twitter, it'll index. And there was such a high, and what I mean by, like, you can search it. Like if someone were to search like Apple release iPhone 7, you could find it, and the tweet's not technically live. Well, someone yanked it. We're sitting in Cupertino with client, and they're flipping their shit out. I'm going like who, why is this live? Why is this live? And we're sitting here going like, oh fuck, who did it? Who did it? And when you look at Casey's account, the dude didn't put it live. He was ready to go live, and it just found out that someone was able to rip it from us. And we're like, oh my gosh. Yeah. That was wild. But first real campaign, say fidget spinners, like that's where we made our real money. This thing right here. Hopefully you can see it. Dogs are getting.
Yeah, fidgetly spin.
This was in the Best Buy. So we were like, this was like what was hanging.
So did y'all went to you didn't just do direct to consumer? You started getting in retail stores and stuff?
We did direct to consumer, but we felt like at the opportunity, we were the only really branded product. Yeah. Like everything was selling like fidget spinners or like generic. Mm-hmm. And so we branded, and I can't take all this credit. This is my partner, Jake Schmidt. This dude was like, hey, I have a winning product. I was like, oh, fuck, cool. I know Facebook. Let me run it. And we did.
Yeah. And in 2016, 2017, it's like, man, you look back on that time range running ads. It's just like, shit, I wish I had this. I wish I had that. I wish I knew this. I wish I knew that, because it was hard to, I mean, granted that you didn't have a shit product, it's hard to not make money with your Facebook ads kind of during that time range.
I'm looking at, like, I have the ad account still. Like I'm literally looking at it, and I was getting $6 conversions at scale.
Jeez.
Like $6. Like I couldn't get a $6 conversion today if I paid someone $6 to buy my product.
Yeah, that old ad account that I used to have is well dead and gone. We had a bunch of wild stuff that we would push out, and using back then you could use like copyrighted music.
Yeah.
Of like artists and all that. I mean, oh my God. I think show like people holding blunts, like just all kinds of stuff. And they of course don't allow that now in any of the video. So
I got to show you this. This is a $4 conversion. I'll share my screen real quick. It's a $4 conversion on this ad, and you're gonna be like, yeah, I know why. 1 second. You got me?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so it's $100 spent, $5 conversions on this creative.
I think I saw that ad. I don't know why. It feels like.
Dude, this was everywhere. Like this was the ad, and people would like start ripping it. This was the first I realized, like, oh shit, like this is how things go viral, and this is how things get ripped real fast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so this is my part. Use it to overly active ADD, ADHD. Like shit made no sense what we were doing.
Yeah.
What was your first like hit where you're like, damn, I'm addicted to this?
Probably an e-com. I think we were selling jean jacket hoodie combo, like sewn, total crinkly package from China, smelled like kerosene. Yeah, that's how I even got introduced into that whole world. Is I ordered something from online, and then it took like a month to get there, and it was like a size small, but it was like one size bigger than what I was based on their specs on their website. And I was like, what? Like my mind was just kind of like blown. I always like to reverse engineer things, and so I was looking at it and trying to figure out, and then I uploaded it to reverse image search, like the jacket, just like look at it, and then stumbled upon the whole AliExpress thing and drop shipping, and what you could do is like, shit, you just put up a store and start running ads for it. I mean, that was like way back in the day. I know people say like you know, drop shipping's dead. Drop shipping isn't dead. I feel like it's like whoever it is that's doing it and whatever their niche is. But for me, I would never get into that again. It's way too competitive, way too saturated, and way too much stress. I'll pull my hair out dealing with customers and all that stuff to ever do it again personally.
I think I've had Digitally was my first one, and then we did 5 or 6 back-to-back products of like either $500,000 or close to $1 million. Like teeth whitening, fucking smashed that for Josh. Magnetic eyelashes, smashed that. LED lights, smashed that. Remember flame light bulbs?
Yeah.
Smashed that. Makeup brush cleaner. Like this, go down the fucking list. I was like, okay, this is where I started learning on drop shipping in 17, 18. And I was like, okay, this is unbelievably addicting because you can input, get an output, and go like, all right, that's the direction I need to go in. And then what I hate doing, which is kind of why I'm like, well, dude, why are you, if you know how to do these things, why don't you build your own company? I don't like doing product development. I don't like doing customer support. I don't like doing fill in the blank. And that's why I want to stay on the performance side, or at least on the marketing side. Yeah,
exactly same here. Because when you, all it takes is for one of your brands to blow up, and then you get all of these fucking experiences that you never would have ever dreamed of having or wanted. And now you've got a master's in merchant accounts and why you can't get your money to fund your ads and just all kinds of stuff. We had one time where we because we'd have to get these big DHL orders, and we were ordering it straight to our home. And like they showed up one time with like 8 of our boxes, and like 2 of them were missing. And we were just like, shit, like I don't even know what was in those boxes or who had what. And we just fulfilled the orders, and the only way we figured it out was who was sending us chargebacks, because we couldn't figure out like what items were missing and to remove and whatnot. So I would for sure, like I'd have to be really tempted to go into that whole thing again. That's not even counting the customer support and the madness with that. That's like a whole other can of worms. I have too much fun dealing with the ad creation, the ad buying, the creative side of it, and then having these hypotheses, and then being able to actually run that hypothesis that you have and then see it, you know, become tangible and materialize into dollars and cents. You're just like, holy shit, I knew I was right. I knew this thing would crush it. I knew it would kill it. That's way more fun for me, is doing the creative side. And like what you were mentioning with those people, you're like, yeah, I was in this room and, you know, $50,000 check here, $200,000 check here for creative. That's what myself and my partner on our creative, Adam, have been trying to kind of crack and get into, is the creative side, because we have a really good time putting together ads and funny video and all that stuff, and you know, closing the loop with a call to action and doing all that stuff. And so we're kind of just really grassroots, trying to get our feet in the door with larger, you know, Fortune 500 type companies that would want to leverage really good creative. And it's hard, man. You would think it would be easier, but it's like, it's freaking hard convincing a lot of these kinds of antiquated companies that, hey, you know, when you have a really engaging, funny, or, you know, whatever ad, and it's a video, you know, you can do a lot with it, but you can run it evergreen until the cows come home. And then if people are roasting you on the ad, it's like they're joining in on the joke when you have like a comedic vibe behind it. It just does so much good stuff. And it's hard to convey all that without trying to sound like a salesman in most cases.
Yeah, I would tell you, like, it's the hardest thing to do. Like, you have to convince someone to spend these dollars that they are, at least for the Fortune 500, Fortune 100, the people that you have to convince that this is doing something when they've engraved to understand that they don't have to track metrics.
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible. Like, those are the people where if they came knocking on our door, we would say, like, unfortunately, I don't think we would work best, because we're in a position where I don't want to explain why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Unless you can be like, oh, great, thank you. Here, let me go get you more stuff to do it, right? Like there's just too much explanation to someone on the creative side. Ask Chandler Welling. Chandler Welling was selling, I think it was like 8,000 to 15,000, somewhere in that range. And just recently, knowing like wherever our economic state's going to be, B, people don't have that much cash to just shell out on content. Like he had to make an offer that's somewhere around the range of like $2,000 to $5,000. And if you can't make that work or drive that to performance, like it's not going to matter. It's not, there's no way you're going to crack in and get Fortune 100, 500. Margle Media, great friend of mine, Nick Kirscher, he made a post about it. It was public on his page going like, great day. We just moved into a brand new big office. Also shit day. We lost some of our massive clients.
Yeah.
Going creative right now. That's why we created what we wanted, which was a performance-focused agency that you pay on a monthly basis, and you get as much creative as you need, and then you give back the data so we can optimize the content.
Yeah.
It's if you're going down this route right now, brother, I believe that's a very difficult road.
Yeah, it's kind of like a unique. I mean, I feel like you're probably in the same boat with like with some of your clients, you've got a unique perspective when you can not only create, but you can also run the ads. And so you get that access to the back, because that's the only way that you can justify the legitimacy on the creative and what it actually can do and sell people on it. However, yeah, exactly to your point, if we're making amazing creative and then we're handing it off to some bozo who runs, a reach campaign, and they're like, this didn't do anything for us. We didn't get any purchases. And it's like, well, you weren't optimizing for that. Like, I mean, so I get 100% what you're saying. It's
difficult. Like, I think you feel and want to do the right thing, but then, and you're absolutely correct. Content is where everything's going. Like the automation of media buying I do believe it's a quote unquote, I wouldn't say dying art, but I would say more and more people are willing to take an automation play, but there's still like structures and account, and you can automate something up until the point where you're spending $500,000 a month.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and at that automation, you're still going to use rules to turn things on or off, but you're not going to have any human subjectivity in knowing, oh shit, this wasn't working, but it was actually trending up. And this is feeding all bottom funnel metrics. Why is that off? Like, even if it's not driving revenue, that motherfucker's giving you 10 cent clicks. You're still going to let that run for bottom of funnel play.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a company or a tool or an automation software that's going to tell you that.
Yeah. It'll just automatically shut off.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll take an unbiased opinion and turn it off because it didn't hit criteria A, B, or C.
I was about to say something about the creative part. Oh, to what you're saying with the way everything's going. But yeah, the media buying, I feel like in general, it's becoming so much of a commodity to people. And, you've got people with little to no experience able to go in and, sometimes they can go in and be, of course, because it's their brand and it's their company. Nobody's going to spend more time on a company than the person who owns it and runs it. So, we do have some clients that are in their accounts, obviously way more than we are, and which is fine. But the world that I think that we live in with, like, I'm mainly Facebook ad buying. Yep. That's what I'm in. And I feel like Facebook is starting to kind of encroach on that territory of automating things and creating tools to, hey, this is doing, your post is on fire, boost it, something like that. And they're making it easier for people to spend money and get some results back. So I think the art of being a really good media buyer, it's kind of dying a little bit. And that's where I feel like the opportunity is with creative, and why I'm trying to lean into it a lot more versus just the ads, man. Cause like, if God forbid you're ever in the echo chamber of clicking on somebody's marketing ad, but you're going to start getting everybody. And it's like, I always want to like just screen record and then put together, but I'm too fucking lazy. I'm too lazy to put together a video of like when I'm scrolling down my feed, and it's just like, it's person after person facing the camera. Hey, if this is you and blah, 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 and it's just like, I don't even know what they're saying, but I already, like, I can have my thing on mute and I just know what it is. I know what they're saying because they all look the fucking same and nobody's really sticking out. I don't know. I don't even know where the hell I was going with that, but that's what drives me to do better and be better a lot of times, is just seeing what else is out there. I've seen a lot of Welling Chandler stuff. He does like amazing creative, and they got like a amazing team, it seems like, over there.
there's a lot of good content shops. I mean, you have Welling, Mute does good content, Common Thread does good content, Viscat Media does good content.
I think you shared something from a common thread that I saw. It was like some like PDF book, and it was like interactive. I was like, damn, this is like a shitload of time taken on like company culture, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like amazing. It was like, Jesus.
Yeah, I learned their leader there, Taylor, was like, gave me the biggest playground for me to figure out my path, and very, 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 very thankful and fortunate for what he's put in front of me and paved the way, like many other people right before him. So it's funny, like to get where you need to be, like you need to leverage like the immediate crew or team or person with you. And as soon as you come to like a point of going like, hey, are we going to do this together? What do you need to stay? What do you need for me to continue on? And if it isn't met, it's like, I love you. I appreciate you. That was awesome what we did. Let's continue on. That's kind of like where we went. And I'm very thankful for the culture there is incredible. Like they crush it. That's why they were able to grow such a large in-house team and keep the focus towards all the revenue targets they're trying to hit. Yeah, I love it. I think they do a fantastic job too.
You have an affinity for graphics versus video?
Actually, I don't. Like, I think I'm going to stay in the shop of like, I'm going to use what's going to work. Like right now, we have one account that's primarily scaling on images. Why? Because it's up close, shows the product, and it's easy to understand. Mm-hmm. There's a video that needs to like sell on a USP. If you're a Theragun, they have to sell a muscle gun that you're charging $500 for. More often than not, you're going to have to show a video of why that's going to be worth it, right?
Yeah.
So I'd equate that to, if it takes a little bit more time for you to explain what it is that they're buying, you more than likely might need a video, or if that click or image is like good enough to get them off, let your page do the selling. I fundamentally believe that the ad earns the click and the page does the selling. So if you want to go the other way, like there's two frameworks: sell on the click, or sell on the ad, and then when you get to the page, be very efficient, buy now, or vice versa.
I feel like I literally just said that today to one of our sales guys.
Probably did. Smart man.
And that like we can only do so much with the ad. Like, you know, when somebody wants you to come in and be like, hey, just run the ads, and then you run the ads and they're like not great because we don't have any control over the website or whatever asset we're sending it to. Usually we'll try and come in and polish it and give pointers as much as possible, but it's like if we weren't hired for it, you know, you can only do so much. Are you running auto placement?
Let's find out. I'm in one account. Let's go to my other account.
We've been running that auto placement a lot since probably about like 6 or 8 months ago. Usually wasn't ever the norm. We used to stick to feeds, but CBO with auto placement and that Facebook Power 5 just is kind of a good, solid foundation to push usually everybody on. I mean, every time I've tested it, it always gets the lowest CPA, auto placement versus editing.
So this is one of our other accounts. This is 400K in spend. And I'm just going to click into a couple prospecting because I don't think you can do a column that shows placements. I'll find out.
Nah, it's only under breakdown.
The only way, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you this. Let's highlight all of them. Yeah, there's nothing in here that looks like, because if you hit breakdown and then you hit the little down arrow that collapse all breakdown summaries, it's showing that everything's running everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing auto. I mean, I don't think unless you have creative that shouldn't fit on feed or doesn't fit and it needs to be in story, then you're going to story.
We've been sticking mainly with 4x5 and just running that auto placement. We'll run graphic version of that 4x5. We'll run video version of the 4x5. Usually have one video, one graphic stuck in an ad set. Depending on, you know, the level of spend behind it, we'll have those two, and it does an amazing job at delivering, you know, on those conversion goals that you're optimizing for. because you're giving Facebook the free reign to decide whether to place a graphic or to place a video, you know, during whoever's conversion journey and where they feel like they're going to deliver that impression and get the conversion. That's been working really well. Of course, that 4x5 video format with like the bar at the bottom where it's like that strip and you're like highlighting the text, or if there's somebody talking for maybe 30 seconds, you're just kind of highlighting like the value props that they're saying, like 100% free shipping, like just like, you know, those kinds of things.
For sure.
Worked really well. We weren't targeting interest-based for a bit. We were going really heavy on lookalike audiences, I feel like, for the last, probably stopped doing it so much in like February timeframe, maybe January. For us, the lookalike started to kind of crap out a little bit, and going with a separate campaign to pull in the interests. And I guess, I don't know what it was, but, you know, maybe having to get new eyeballs into the funnel that weren't typically normally there by targeting those interest-based, it seemed to give a really good bump and boost to what we were doing. We only usually use, for the most part in the past, interest-based for new clients that have no website and they're just starting out. We don't really have a lot of seed data to go off of. We'll start with the interest-based stuff first. Are you heavy on a lot of your lookalikes, or you kind of split?
Yeah, I'm actually, the reason I was looking at my Twitter is I posted yesterday what's been working for us is 30-day 1% added cart, initiate checkout, and purchase stacks. And so we launched a 1% through 5% all stacked together. And people are like, oh, you're only posting the screenshots of naming conventions. And I just like, guys, just try it. I just counted 6 responses to me. All 6 people that I've never met before just said, hey, it's working, ready to scale. He goes, thank you, my friend, from all over the place. So we're stacking lookalikes. I never was about this because the logic tells me, okay, cool, stack it all together. Which one works? I don't know. Like, you have all of these stacked together. Which one was the one that worked?
So you're saying when you're going into the audience, you click website, you click initiate checkout, 30 days plus, and then it has to fit all, or
no, individual. So 30-day add to cart audience, initiate checkout audience,
okay,
purchase
gotcha.
audience. So then if you're creating it like that, now you have those individual that in the future, if you want to run individual, you can. But we're just grouping them together on 1%, 2% excluding 1, 3%.
So I got you. So crazy. So initiate the purchase. Are you going any further below initiate checkout?
Add a cart.
Add a cart. Yeah, I did notice that actually what you're talking about with 30 days recently. You know, we usually always want to use 180 days to use the most available data, but given the weird fucking environment that we're in right now, that 30-day I think is vastly different than the 180 days of audience, just because it's more fresh and they're still buying in the world of what's going on right now.
Yeah, dude, I'll riff off that one, dude. You're absolutely correct, because if you're able to buy during a time where everyone's feeling uncertain, that's a unique cohort, right? Like all of market buyers, that's fuego.
That's a good reminder, man. I need to write that down actually, because I did that with 1 or 2 others, and I need to implement it with others. Yeah, we're in the 40s in terms of our client count. Started last year, full on agency and whatnot. We've gone through definitely through some growing pains and trying to, you know, grow more, get more clients in, make sure the current clients are serviced. That seems to be like the biggest obstacle, is making sure that everybody's taken care of, but you're also not overloading yourself with, you know, team members that just aren't doing anything, and you're blowing money there. That's a really tricky thing to manage. I think you said you're at like 90 or 95 or something like that.
They're definitely not all managed. They're like 95 I have access to, 62 we manage, and 15 to 20 we consult.
Gotcha. You have an exit goal personally for your agency?
Great question. I don't know.
Hoping for something.
I know people are getting multiples on this specifically, but like I've been with 4 teams. Now this is my full team, and they're finding like in the culture that we want. buying the way we want, understanding media the way we want it. Designers are designing how we want it. So if someone comes and just like buys the squad, like I have to rebuild that all again. Like it's taken us forever to get here. So I don't really know. I really don't have an end up goal. I know that we eventually want to just no longer take clients and just launch our own stuff. That way, then our buyers have vested interest, but easier said than done for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what the multiple is. I think I do work with a broker and chat with him, you know, like quarterly or so, just kind of get like pulses and see the trajectory that we're on. Because I mean, I won't do this forever. From an agency owner perspective, it's an extremely fucking stressful environment to always be delivering on literally every person that you've got. So it's stressful as hell. I'd like to exit for like 20 million. I'd be fine with that. So whatever I'd have to do to build up, I think our number was somewhere around like 250 active managed clients to start to fetch that kind of a evaluation and an offer from somebody, from whatever the multiple was. I forget what it was. I feel like it was maybe 3, something like that, 3 or 4. I don't know. Maybe your ear is more to the industry than mine with valuations, and maybe other of your peers who have gotten some crazy valuations. But that's my assumption, is like a 3, maybe a 4.
Yeah, I think there's what I was explaining it. So obviously I'm close with the Tenuity people. I'm close with CBC Strategy, which got bought. I'm close with Need6 that got bought. Well, it's Metric Digital out of New York. That dude just got bought. Kevin just sold his.
I think I saw that one. I saw, of course, Mute 6. So like whatever the company is, iProspect that bought them. The other companies that are snapping these kinds of companies up, are they just like massive advertising agencies, or are they like conglomerates that want to have like their own in-house? Or
no, you have 2 routes. Like you can go. I think the route that I'm more interested in is like we've had two inquiries since we've launched, and I'm working on like 2 or 3 more actively. But it goes from like you have PE, and then you have agency roll-up. PE, since they have access to the brands, and a lot of these brands don't know how to run their own shit, they want an agency to be their in-house team to run their brands. So they acquire you on that round, and then you're basically like the in-house growth squad that doesn't need clients. You just manage everything they bring in on the PE side. And then like a play like Steve, where they got rolled up into iProspect. Metric Digital got rolled up into, what did they get bought by? I don't remember off the top of my head. CBC Strategy got bought by Tenuity, and obviously iProspect goes into Dentsu. So those guys, like, they're just trying to get more business. Like it's an EBITDA play on that point. Like they know they are going to get more brands. And how Mute, this is my analysis of how it happened. Mute had the largest client roster of D2C brands in like a different subsector compared to like the portfolio of what iProspect had or Dentsu had. So the uniqueness of their situation and the multiple that I know that they got, or like there's like so many things went right for that to happen. So many things. So I don't even want to throw out like fake numbers, because even the numbers that we're getting, it's like hypotheticals around like, all right, Shaq, keep growing the book of business. Because we have obviously I have the event business, creative business, agency business, the consultant. Like there's 4 businesses in one. So it's really, really unique for us.
It's a shitload to manage.
Someone's got to do it. Might as well be me.
That's definitely a unique buy if somebody comes in and I don't know. I feel like if you got somebody who's, I don't know, their current business fits like a puzzle piece so uniquely within what they do, if they wanted to, acquire everything that you would have or offer. I feel like that's something that you could get a really good multiple off of, because the value is there.
Hope so. That's the goal.
Or they might say, because it's so unique, nobody else wants it, we'll buy it, and they'll lowball you. It's always, it's always weird how those things can go when, you're trying to exit a business and you're trying to get bought out. It's Yeah, until escrow hits, it's never a done deal.
Amen. Amen. I feel that so much now, but it's been good. I mean, I don't think I'm going to switch out just yet. I haven't even turned 30 yet. I'm pretty bullish on what we're doing, and we have a lot of great interest. So I'm pretty happy about it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm 37, so I'm well beyond.
Yeah, you're over it. You're ready for the next thing. What's next after this?
Yeah, after what? After this agency life? I don't know. I've done other things, and it's like internet marketing is kind of always what I come back to, because it's always just like the thrill of trying to figure something out and then figuring it out and then monetizing. The way I got started in the industry in general was like back in 2008 or so. I had my real estate license right when the financial credit crunch happened. So I had my real estate license. I, of course, didn't really do much with it. I was posting properties that were like foreclosures and stuff like that, getting people to give me a shout through Craigslist, and then, getting their credit pulled and stuff like that, and pre-qualifying them on an FHA loan and going that route before the whole thing happened. And then whenever it did, I had a title company who sent out an email to all realtors, and they didn't BCC it. And so I could see everybody who's a real estate agent, I could see all these emails, and they had like 500 or 1,000 or so emails on there. And I was, thinking about how I could monetize all these people. And so, I mean, that's like where my brain goes with things. And then I did, and I put together a package, like a real estate jumpstart package for realtors. We'll do your Facebook cover photo, your Twitter cover photo, LinkedIn for like $3.99. And then I would have like 20 Gmail burner accounts, and I would just send out an email to 500 people on those things until Gmail banned those accounts. And then I would have, 3 people reply back and just be like, hey, I'm interested in this, and make like an easy, like $1,500, $1,200 per day, just like randomly fishing on email and stuff like that. And so, I mean, that's how I got my start in it. I think everybody's got like a weird, like, start if you're in internet marketing, because there's so many different things you can try. And I didn't even talk about like going down ClickBank things. I've never done that before. I feel like that's extremely laborious, doing the affiliate stuff. I know you do some stuff with James. I forget his last name.
And 𝐈𝐍𝐒?
Yeah. Isn't he really big in the affiliate stuff?
Yeah, very big in affiliate and lead gen.
Yeah. I think I'm in one of his group. I forget which one it is.
We only have 2, so it should be Geek Out or Purple Knowledge.
I think it's Purple Knowledge, or maybe it might be Geek Out. One of them. I don't know. He always mentions good stuff though, and I know he's in that kind of niche. And I don't really hear too many other people that talk on affiliate stuff that stick out in my head. At least it's a difficult little niche to crack, it seems.
At the top, yeah, I think it's pretty narrow. Yeah, I don't spend too much time there. We have a couple of great partnerships, whether it's DFO, A4D, or Giddy Up. Like those are good dudes to play with.
Are you doing anything with Snapchat? Nothing.
Not a single thing.
Yeah. Surprise. I feel like if you go into one of those groups, you'll feel like fear of missing out, FOMO, with like everybody's like, how I'm getting 1 million X on Snapchat. And it's like, I mean, there's one guy, I think his name's Andrew. I don't know who it is. Matt Smith. That's who it is. I've seen him promote some stuff, how he's doing good with Snapchat, but don't really see too many other people going through how they're killing it on Snapchat. We run Snapchat. We do it. It's okay. It really comes down to the offer and what you're pitching. Those like gimmicky kind of buy now, and you go and you buy and you get to the page, it's 50% off. Everything has to be created and crafted really specifically for those Snapchat users, because they're just so their attention span is like 0.
Yeah, I know Matt Smith. I've worked very closely with him. We actually helped him produce his course. And yeah, Matt, the thing that people don't realize is that Matt is a gifted offer creator. Like Matt is very, very gifted at the copy, the research, the analysis, the words that he uses. Like this dude takes this shit to a fucking art and science. Like we're over here when we're analyzing just accounts. Mm-hmm. This man's process. Now, mind you, he literally literally opts to live very menial and in like, I'm not saying like a trailer, but he chooses to live that way. And the man makes more money than most people, right? So like he's got his own system and workflow that when he is talking about it, he's easily the smartest person on it, but nobody else can oftentimes replicate his success because they don't go the depth that he goes to. So if you can't get there, you're instantly be like, oh fuck, like this doesn't work. So it's interesting. Like him, I know Savannah talks a lot about Snapchat. We've had one success story, which they ended up raising like I think a $10 million round called Step.com. It was a child credit game. So if you do Crunchbase Step, like that scale was because of my partner and us.
What was the company?
Step.com, 4-letter word.
Okay, I don't know why I was thinking of like a different one that I've seen. I feel like I saw like a case study or something on. It's hard, man. Snapchat's difficult. You don't spend too much time on it just because of that. And I feel like their I don't know, their internal algorithm still isn't really exactly on point either with delivering you, what you're optimizing for with conversions. But I mean, that's just my limited experience.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Matt would probably disagree.
Yeah, more than both of us. I mean, it's like someone talking, I just run native ads. I'm like, I have zero knowledge on native.
Yeah, me either.
Hell yeah.
Well, I don't have really too much anything else. And I don't want to take up too much of your time or mine, but we've been chatting for about an hour. So go ahead and wrap this one up. You can stay on after. So again, Nick Shackelford, saying that right?
Yes, sir.
StructuredSocial.com. I appreciate you popping on here and chatting with me, man.
Thanks for the opportunity, brother.